In the headlines, 26 families to receive keys to new climate-resilient homes in Bellevue. Dominica could soon boast of a national invasive species policy, and youth around the world expected to play a key role in the WHO's efforts at vaccine acceptance. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, 26 families to receive keys to newly built climate-resilient homes in Bellevue. On Tuesday, Housing Minister Reginald Austrie announced Cabinet's approval of the 26 recipients.
Today, I am pleased to report that the Cabinet has approved the 26 recipients for the newly constructed resilient homes in the Bellevue development. The government of Dominica over the years, in its mission to transform the housing stock of our country with modern, resilient housing, in partnership with Montreal Management Company, MMCE, is here to confirm and deliver on our promise. While 26 families will receive the keys to their homes, the greater impact will touch the lives of 114 individuals who will occupy these homes. This development constitutes 3-bedroom units and are constructed with concrete roof and structure, and contains solar water heaters and decorated roof covering to augment the aesthetics. Each unit comes complete with kitchen and bathroom installations. To date, this will bring the total number of homes constructed under the MMC housing program to 897. As a government, notwithstanding COVID-19, we continue to pursue our goal to ensure that our people are properly housed and that the national property stock will be among the highest quality and most hurricane resilient in the Caribbean. I take this opportunity to wish you a blessed Christmas and a prosperous 2021. May God bless us all.
As Minister for Housing, Mr. Austrie would have worked very closely with the late Christopher Timmins, who passed away on Saturday.
Let me first of all take this opportunity to extend our deepest sympathies to the family of Mr. Christopher Timmins, who passed away on Saturday, December 12, 2020. Chris was project manager of MMC on the island, helping deliver a raft of projects for the government and people of Dominica under the Dominica Housing Program. His personal sacrifice cannot go unnoticed. For this, we are thankful. After Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria, Chris was with us at every step of the way, helping rebuild our nature island. This will never be forgotten, and we owe a debt of gratitude to his family in particular.
In more top stories, a challenge to Dominicans to have more serious social discussions on the topic of HIV and AIDS. The challenge from coordinator of the HIV/AIDS response program, Lester Guy. Dominica recently observed World AIDS Day under the theme, Solidarity, a Shared Responsibility. Guy says it is time for stakeholders to get more serious on the issue of HIV and AIDS in order to bring greater awareness and understanding to the populace.
As it relates to having this social justice groups get involved in spreading the message, we do have a challenge in that. People already has these preconceived ideas and misconceptions and myths about it. But again, get involved, man. I'm challenging everybody. I'm challenging companies. I'm challenging organizations. I'm challenging the legal system. Get more involved in it. Let's have more discussions surrounding social discussions surrounding, not just clinical discussions. Let's have more social discourse, surrounding those things. Let's have panel discussions. Let's have radio programs. Let's discuss it at a school level so children get the right information, so they know if they hear a discussion with somebody who may be HIV positive, that they know better.
Guy urged the public to be more open-minded and understanding towards those living with HIV and AIDS.
Let's try to enhance the quality of life of those around us and make them feel as comfortable. And even persons who are HIV positive out there, don't socially discriminate yourself. Don't socially stigmatize yourself because you think the world will respond to you in a specific way. There's so many incidences where people who are scared that they would share the information with a family member or friend and the person would leave them hanging, and that hardly ever happens. So challenge yourself. And I'm saying that to all the listening public out there. Give us a fair chance. Give persons who are HIV positive a fair chance, man. It's a solidarity fight. We are all involved. It's a shared responsibility. Let's do this thing together.
In other developments, Dominica is one step closer to having a national invasive species policy. Julian Morris has that story.
Over the past few years, Dominica has had to deal with the repercussions of invasive species on the island. New populations such as the striped-tailed iguana, giant African snail, the Cuban tree frog, and lionfish have put a strain on Dominica's ecosystem and natural wildlife. Education officer in the 1st Division, Janelle Brisbane, who is also the founder of the non-governmental organization Wild Dominique, says it is important for stakeholders to work together to see the benefit of an invasive species policy.
It's not just a public sector thing. It's not just a private sector thing. It's a hand-in-hand strategy that has to be taken. Both sectors have to come together to work together. So we are bringing that private sector aspect to it. The forestry division, for instance, which would be our public sector counterpart, is limited in what they can do in terms of, they have X number of people, X number of funding, X number of equipment. We have access as the private sector to additional funding, additional capacity development activities that we can bring to the table. So we are working side by side to develop something that's more reflective of Dominica in all capacities, and pooling our resources together.
Brisbane outlines the next steps in developing the National Invasive Species Strategy.
So the follow-up actions, we are going to draft the strategy, and we will send that information out to the relevant stakeholders, and then host a validation workshop to ensure that the information put forth is correct and true to what was said. And then once that is done, we will send that information to the relevant ministry personnel, such as the PS of Environment, Ministry of Environment, PS of Agriculture, the PS of Tourism and Trade, all the different agencies that were represented here, with Agriculture and Environment being the core agencies. And then they will review it, give their feedback, and then they will go higher up the chain.
Minister for National Security and Home Affairs Rayburn Blackmore says government is committed to ensuring a proper process for the issuance and reissuance of work permits. Blackmore says government welcomes all and is not against employing foreign nationals, but unfortunately, there will always be a pool of dishonest people. The minister also makes reference to the tampering of documents.
There were instances of persons purporting to be employers making requests for permits on behalf of persons who were not legitimately employed. The willingness, therefore, to return to the drawing board should not be perceived as a weakness, but as a hallmark of good governance. Therefore, the government felt it of utmost necessity to review its approach to the issuance of work permits and to put systems in place to mitigate against abuse and to ensure that the existing laws are respected and complied with. The Immigration and Passport Amendment number 19 of 2003, Section 27 through to Section 27H provides the conditions under which the minister may grant work permits. As the minister, I wish to express my utmost confidence in the laws currently in existence. It should be noted that there are distinctions in how different categories of employers will be treated. A distinction is being drawn between registered businesses, self-employed persons, farmers, and persons wishing to hire in-home assistance, whether it is for help in the homes and yards or caretakers.
The minister says effective 5th January 2021, a number of new measures will come into effect with reference to the issuance and renewal of work permits.
In keeping with the law, Section 27F, as far as it is applicable, potential employers must show that he or she has advertised the position locally and are unable to get suitable Dominicans to fill the positions. In that regard, free newspaper clippings will need to be appended to all applications. Further, return tickets for the non-nationals may be required. Persons who are self-employed will be required to produce proof of their businesses or proof of their livelihoods. The government of Dominica has repeatedly demonstrated its commitments to the agricultural sector, and in that regard will be flexible. Persons who are undertaking farming on whatever scale may be subject to a process of verification. 4. Persons wishing to hire domestic and home assistants may also be required to provide some measure of proof. 5. Valid photo identifications will be required of all applications. Application forms 6 for work permits and work permit renewals are available at the Labor Division located at Government Headquarters in Roseau. Please note that there is no intention to create unnecessary strain on small organizations or individuals. However, there must remain a standard of best practice and transparency.
Coming up, the Bureau of Gender Affairs meets with some level of success with its advocacy work. That and more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. Cabinet has approved the awarding of 2 more contracts totaling over $5 million for improvements to the Grand Bay and Marigot primary schools. Minister for Education Octavia Alfred says despite the COVID-19 pandemic, government continues to fulfill its 2019 manifesto promises to improve school infrastructure across the country.
The government of Dominica over the years have built and refurbished schools island-wide with greater emphasis on climate resilience standards. In 2018, under the Dominica Climate Resilience and Restoration Project, with a collaborative effort with the Government of Canada and the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, 5 schools were identified for rehabilitation, namely Mount John Primary School, Daly's Primary School, Grand Bay Primary School, Salisbury Primary School, and Will Strathmore Stevens Primary School in Marigot. The total cost estimated at US $7.563 million or EC $20.2 million. Recently, we handed over to the people of Salisbury the Salisbury Primary School, and works are ongoing at the Monjon Primary School and the Daly's Primary School. Today, I am pleased to announce that the Cabinet of Dominica has approved the awards of 2 more contracts as follows. The rehabilitation of the Granby Primary School in the amount of EC $3,147,370.76, and the Will Strathmore in Marigot in the amount of EC $2,175,450.50.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs is reporting some level of success with its advocacy work around the country. Here is Julian Morris with more.
The Bureau is responsible for, among other things, bringing awareness to and shaping policies for the improvement of gender relations in the country. The Bureau recently wrapped up its 16 Days of Activism campaign, which was held under the theme Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Collect and Prevent. Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Melissa Morgan, says over the years, the Bureau has seen an increase in the number of people reporting gender-based violence.
Most of our programs, especially over the past few years, have been geared at 1, raising and increasing an understanding, raising awareness and increasing understanding of gender-based violence, and 2, strengthening support services for the survivors that actually do report. With that, 1, we've seen that more people are likely to report. So you can see that the awareness is growing. So it's difficult to say whether or not, violence has increased or decreased. What we can say is that more people know the avenues to go, they know where to report, and they feel more comfortable with coming forward and report. So that, from our experience, we can say for sure.
The number of men coming forward to report abuse has also grown, though the Bureau believes there is still underreporting on abuse against men.
Over the past few years, men are more likely to come forward and report emotional abuse. So when you look at the statistics, previous data, you would find that women are more likely to report physical or sexual violence. Men, on the other hand, when they do come forward, they're more likely to report emotional violence. I mean, it's still something that men don't come forward and report, and that's also important for us as well. So we've tried our best to kind of do activities geared at men, increasing men in the discussion, not only to help us in the fight against violence against women and girls, but also to get men to speak about, some of these issues.
The 16 Days of Activism campaign ended on Human Rights Day. Morgan vows to continue the fight to provide the best care for survivors of gender-based violence.
With this theme of preventing, responding, collecting data, and funding, it just gives us the additional push to continue to do so, because victims or survivors of gender-based violence have a wide range of needs, from psychosocial support, legal needs, other support services, counseling, safe housing in some situations. So it is important that we are able to, that us as frontline service providers are able to work with each other to provide the best of care for the survivors, so that they can move on to be productive members of society instead of being fully dependent on the perpetrator.
And the World Health Organization said this week it would be looking to youth organizations around the world to help promote vaccine acceptance. As COVID-19 vaccines are being rolled out in the United States, the United Kingdom, and other parts of the world, the WHO says there is a critical role that young people can play in helping to educate others and encourage them to be receptive to the idea of being vaccinated. Representatives of global youth organizations such as the Scouts and Girl Guides attended a virtual meeting of the WHO this week, where they shared the impact of COVID-19 on education and other aspects of life.
Since we have the 6 big youth organizations with us today and the representatives talking about how they're going to mobilize youth and communities and have and take up these challenging issues, I think this is a perfect topic for them. The youth can really mobilize. They can use social media much better than we can, and they're generally very well informed. And I think they can influence their parents and their grandparents if they get the facts right and they spread it through their networks into the community. So just a shout out to our young friends leading the big youth movements around the world to play a role in improving vaccine acceptance, not just for COVID-19, but for all diseases like measles, for which we have increasing numbers of people coming down with measles, despite the fact that we've had an effective and safe vaccine for years. So that would be a great rallying cry, I think, coming from the youth organizations.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. 26 families to receive keys to new climate-resilient homes in Bellevue Royal. Dominica could soon boast of a national invasive species policy. And youth around the world expected to play a key role in the WHO's efforts to promote vaccine acceptance. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.